What immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent. My apartment building was a dump, but rent was cheap, and I needed cheap. The walls were thin, the heater barely worked, and the parking lot was basically a pothole convention. But none of that bothered me as much as my neighbor across the hall, Cheryl. 4 kids under 10, and zero clue how to be a mom. Every other night was party night at her place. Loud music, random guys coming and going, beer bottles clinking until 3 in the morning. But the kids? They'd get locked in the bedroom or just left to wander the hallway in their pajamas while mom got wasted. I worked nights at the gas station, so I'd see this crap constantly. Little kids in socks and Spider-Man pajamas, sitting on the dirty carpet outside their own apartment door. The oldest was maybe 8, always carrying her baby brother on her hip. "Where's your mom?" I'd ask. "She's having grown-up time," the girl would say, like she'd memorized the line. I should have called someone right then, but I figured maybe it was just a rough patch, you know? Single mom, tough life, whatever. I minded my own business, until that night in February. I came home around midnight. Snow piled up everywhere, wind cutting through the building like a knife, and there they were again. 2 of Cheryl's kids, the 8-year-old girl and her little brother who couldn't have been more than 4, huddled on the concrete stairs outside. No coats, no shoes, just thin pajamas and chattering teeth. "Hey, what are you guys doing out here?" The girl looked up with these huge, tired eyes. "Mom said we were being too loud, so we have to have a sleepover outside." "A sleepover? It's like 20 degrees. She shrugged, pulling her brother closer. "She said fresh air is good for us." I knocked on Cheryl's door. Music thumped from inside, and I could hear people laughing and someone yelling about poker chips. No answer. "How long have you been out here?" "Since dinner time," the girl said. That was 5 hours ago. I couldn't leave them there. I brought them into my apartment, made them hot chocolate, let them watch cartoons on my couch. The little boy fell asleep immediately. The girl kept apologizing for being a bother. "We're not supposed to talk to strangers," she whispered. "Smart rule," I said, "but I live right across from you, so I'm not really a stranger." When I knocked on Cheryl's door an hour later, she answered with a drink in her hand, mascara smudged, reeking of cheap wine. "Where are my kids?" "In my apartment. They were freezing on the stairs." "They're fine. Kids are tougher than you think." She went to push past me, but I blocked the doorway. "It's 20 degrees outside. They were being little shits all day. Sometimes you gotta be creative with discipline." I wanted to punch her. Instead, I called the landlord and child services the next morning. But Cheryl was smart. When CPS showed up, the apartment was clean, the kids were dressed nice, and she put on this whole act about how her bitter neighbor was harassing her because she'd rejected his advances, which was complete garbage, but they bought it. Case closed. The next week, same thing. Kids on the stairs, party inside. This time, I didn't call anyone. I filmed it. The kids shivering in their pajamas, the music blasting, Cheryl opening the door long enough to yell, "Suck it up! It's not even that cold!" I got 20 minutes of footage. Then I sent it everywhere. Police, CPS, local news, tenant advocacy groups, the mayor's office, anyone with an email address. That video didn't just get Cheryl evicted, it got her kids taken away. Turns out she'd been reported before in other apartments, other cities. The video was the final piece they needed. But here's the kicker. 2 weeks after she got evicted, I ran into her at Walmart. She was buying cigarettes and energy drinks, looking like she hadn't slept in days. She saw me and marched over, getting right in my face. "You ruined my life." "No," I said. "You ruined your kids' lives. I just recorded it." She started crying right there in the checkout line, mascara running down her cheeks. "You don't understand what it's like. I never wanted kids. I don't know how to do this." For a second, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Then I remembered those kids on the stairs, blue lips and bare feet, apologizing for existing. Maybe you should have thought about that before you had 4 of them.